Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul Perdue. I am a nerd, and this is the November 2013 PracticeMaster Virtual User Group meeting. And today we are all about version 17. Shh, don't tell anyone, because we're not really supposed to talk about version 17 until December. I think we even took all the people at STI out of our email distribution list just temporarily when we sent the email last week announcing the topic for today's session. So you guys are getting a little bit advance notice on the scoop on version 17 and the changes that were made to PracticeMaster. Now, Mary Jo will constantly remind me throughout this session that I am not to talk too long on either of the topics that I am talking on, because we're really just here today to give you kind of a rundown of what's coming, a summary, a synopsis, if you will. We will be doing virtual user group meetings starting in January that will go into great depth at some of the things that you're going to see glimpses of today. So don't worry about the fact that you may not get everything explained exactly as to what it will do. You can always call me and ask me questions. But the purpose here is to give you kind of a glimpse of every single thing that's coming down the pike in PracticeMaster in version 17. Now, with that in mind, when Patty sends your emails that you typically get after you attend one of these sessions, letting you know that the recorded version is up and ready for you to view if you should so desire, we will include the version 17 What's New list, which is kind of the list that Mary Jo and I are working from today as we make this presentation. So that is kind of an all-inclusive soup to nuts sort of list of everything that's in PracticeMaster and tabs in the accounting software in version 17. Now, before we go any further, a little bit of housekeeping. This is your GoToWebinar control panel. If you are not seeing this on the right-hand side of your screen, it's probably because you've been here before and you know that pressing this button will get rid of it. This button that looks like an arrow pointing to the right will slide this big box out of the way. When that happens, this button will change to a one that looks like an arrow pointing to the left, which means that if you click it again, it'll bring this back into focus. Why would you bring it back into focus? Why? Because you're shy and have a question, of course. This is where you can type a question. Don't forget to hit send. And Leanne will be monitoring those questions. Leanne, of course, is our humble moderator. She will be monitoring those questions, looking for you to ask a question. And when you do, she will interrupt Mary Jo or I at an opportune time, ask your question on your behalf. And if you have follow-up questions as we're answering your question, keep typing them. Keep typing your questions here, here, here. Keep hitting send. Don't forget to hit send after you type your question. Now, if you're not feeling shy, you can also click this button here, which looks like a hand with an arrow pointing upward in front of it. That button will raise your hand, and Leanne will notice that, and she will interrupt us again at an opportune time, but this time she will do so in order to unmute you so that you can ask your own darn question. So, again, don't be shy. If you raise your hand and you don't get the answer that you wanted or you don't understand the answer that you got, keep asking questions until you get things fully answered. Now, with that said, let's go look at PracticeMaster. Now, this is our PracticeMaster, so I'm going to go to Purdue Law Offices and hit enter and hope that there's nothing horrible about my brother Dave or my brother Bill on the screen. I don't think there is. Do you see anything, Mary Jo? Okay. Okay, so we're going to talk, and I'm going to talk about document management first. Document management has been overhauled in version 17, and the changes are very, very significant. Mary Jo is going to tell you about some new toolbars. I'm going to tell you how to get stuff in from Windows. But first, I'm going to take you into a document management record, and I'm just going to take you straight to the file. And I'm going to show you that we have some added functionality right here. We've got a document type drop down, if you will, or list that you can select from. This is an editable list, just like the calendar codes or transaction codes or any of the other things that are in PracticeMaster. So you can set up your own document types, and later on we'll see that we can search by those document types. As always, you're able to edit the screen layout and add your own fields if you want. There are a couple things down here to manage where your document is. You can automatically manage your documents through PracticeMaster. I'll show you a little more about that in a second. You can protect the document straight from here, meaning you can make it read-only. So for your forms libraries or your forms documents, you can manage that read-only protection right here. You have the ability to check out a document from PracticeMaster. You have the ability to monitor who's got documents checked out. Checking out a document means that somebody else can't pull it up and edit it and save over the original and then have you come back with your document that you've taken home to work on and save over their changes. Version control has been added to document management, so you can have multiple versions of the same document all managed through the same document record. Very significant change there. If you go out to Windows and you go to bring a document into your system, there is now, if you highlight any document and right-click, there is a Send to PracticeMaster button that will allow you to save that as a new document management record and identify which client you want to put it on. When we do that, it brings this up, puts the short DOS name or the Windows name of the file here, lets you fill in the file name, assign it to a client, put in comments, whatever you will. And I'm going to cancel out of that. Also from Windows, if you went into a certain document directory, of course you've got your documents all organized by client and matter already, and you blocked a whole bunch of documents in a certain folder and said you wanted to send them to PracticeMaster. It has the ability to import multiple documents at the same time. It can tell us that we have selected 24 documents to come in. Lets us either view each document management record before saving or just bring them in and set some predefined fields, and lets us decide how we want it to be named, what we want the date to be, whether it's the date that was already on the file, what the description should be, what document type it should be, what client it should go to. So you can basically take all your documents, let's say from your pleadings folder for your Jones workers' comp matter, and you can highlight them all, hit the Send to PracticeMaster button, tell it you want them all to go to the Jones workers' comp case as document type pleadings with the file name as the name, and pull them all into PracticeMaster all at once. One important thing to consider about document management in PracticeMaster, if you have Platinum, which means that you probably have Tabs 3 Connect, which is the cloud accessible view of your PracticeMaster data, that means your documents are out there for you to access from your server in the cloud. So that's something that if you had World Docs would actually cost a whole lot more money to do, because you'd need to put certain things into place like the World Docs Enterprise Server. That's built into PracticeMaster's new document management system. So that's very, very cool. I don't want to stomp on Mary Jo's toes. Some of these things that are listed here under mine are also on hers. You can now convert document management records to fees. So the time that you spend working on a document can automatically become a fee entry in your billing system in Tabs 3. There is a new utility to make sure that all the documents that are tagged to matters in PracticeMaster are valid, and help you to identify instances where you may have gotten documents disconnected. Maybe you moved a folder but didn't tell PracticeMaster you had moved that folder of documents. This new utility will take care of that for you. You do have the ability for this to be managed. And Mary Jo, help me remember, where did we go? Documents.
What are you looking for?
The management of the, you know what? I should have written this down. You do have the ability for your document management to be totally managed. And by that I mean when you're in Word and you go to save something and you give it a name and you give it a client ID, it can automatically store that document in the right folder with the right name without your having to go save it. Those of you who are familiar with the old style of document management in PracticeMaster, you would tell it you wanted to save a document to PracticeMaster, and then you would go put it where you wanted to put it. In the new version, you can eliminate that step of needing to yourself put it away, and you can define where these documents are going to go, how they're going to be sorted, probably by client and probably then by matter and perhaps then by document type, and how they're going to be named, perhaps with the date and then the name of the document from the description as part of the name, so that later on somebody can go in through Windows Explorer and find these documents in the right place with the right name. Okay, enough about document management. We will probably have at least half of a virtual user group meeting devoted to that in the future and the new features in version 17. Another new feature is these things right here called quick views. Quick views are ways to take filters and sort orders and column layouts and tie them all together and bring them right out here to the list view so that you can instantly go to things that are sorted by, here are all of our clients. Here are all of the people that I'm going to visit tomorrow when I'm in Lansing. Here they are, the people that I'm going to drop in on. Here are the people that I have emailed this morning already and I'm waiting to hear from. Here are the people that I have appointments with. Here are people that I'm calling this week. These are all different groupings of the people that would normally appear on my client tab intermingled with all the other people. A great example of this that we'll show when we have a session actually devoted to this, part of the virtual user group meeting, is how this can be used to identify all the active matters subgrouped by primary attorney. So instead of having to know what to go to click on over here to get it sorted the right way, to get the columns laid out the right way, and get it filtered the right way, you just click on active by primary, and then down here you'll see a list of all the primary attorneys, and click on one and you'll see all their active matters. Very, very cool, and it's called Quick Views. Mary Jo?
We have a new record count feature. So if I'm on any list view in PracticeMaster and I highlight a couple of records here, I don't have control, Paul. You didn't give it to me.
Okay, hold on. Let me give you control.
Hogging the control.
Yeah, I'm micromanaging. I think you are this person. Can you move? Yes.
Yes, there we go. All right, so as I select records, I'm on a client list right now. Down here at the bottom right, I have now 5 records highlighted. If I had this list sorted by active timekeeper, active clients by me as the timekeeper, and I did a Control-A to select all of the records, I would see how many records I had down here.
Wow, you have a lot of records.
I have all of them, but this would be 9,106. So it's just a quick record count feature that just by what you're highlighted on a list tab, you can find out how many you have. This could be on the calendar list tab, fee list tab, any of that, but for your clients.
I have to interject and say I can't tell you how many times I have gotten something on my screen, counted how many were here, and then gone 1, 2, 3, 4, and then multiplied to figure out how many records there were. So although it doesn't seem big, I think it's huge.
It is a good feature. The next one is the search box. Up here we have our search the list box, and now when you click on that, we have some enhanced features for that. You can actually tell it which fields that you want to define here. I believe client ID, client name, and name search are already there. And then we added a miscellaneous one, but by clicking on the fields, you can add more fields over here that you can search by. So instead of having to sort your columns and do things like that and then start typing your name or whatever, you can just come over here to your search tab and decide, well, I want to do it by client name, or I want to do it by miscellaneous one, or work description, or whatever it is, and you can quickly sort your columns. So that's pretty cool. And then as you start building that list, you also have a history. So as you start adding fields and doing searches, your most recent searches are over here as well. So that's a very big enhancement to
another one of those where you're seeing it in practice. I was watching an admin, a legal admin, do this, and she said, I can't tell you how wonderful it is to not have to sort by something other than name search just to find what I'm looking for. She can leave it sorted by name search, come over here and type something under miscellaneous description 1, and find what she's looking for and still have it ordered by name. And that's, it's little things like that that really...
And all of your fields show up. So, I mean, if you go down to your fields, you would see all of the fields that you have on there. So that's really good to have a good selection.
Yep. Alarms. Those of you who know that I am the Alarm King know that I am the Alarm King. Those of you who don't, well, I am the Alarm King. So we're going to go here, and we are going to, oh, we're looking at Leanne. Mary Jo, stop laughing.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What are you again, Paul?
I am the Alarm King. We're going to get
Okay.
my task list up, and we're going to create a new item for today with an alarm of, let's say, 2:15. Okay, and we're going to tell it that we want an alarm time of right at 2:15, and we're going to save it. And here's the alarm window. Now, if you've ever seen alarms in version 16 or prior, you know, and just while we're doing this, I'm going to add another alarm also with a time of, let's say, 2:18. See if I can do this in time. Well, we'll make it 2:19. Well, we'll make it 2:18. Okay. Save it. Now we've got 2. Those of you who have ever seen these before, if you've got 10 alarms, they come up as 10 separate boxes in version 16.2 and prior. This has all been changed so that they now come up in a single box, just like they do in Outlook. And I can highlight different records. And if I had more than one here, I could control-click and choose this one, skip this one, choose that one, skip that one, choose that one. And while they're highlighted, I can say for the 3 that are highlighted, I want to snooze 10 minutes, but the other 2 I'm going to snooze for 5 minutes. Or you can clear certain ones, and then you can even open them up and maybe say, well, I'm not going to do this till tomorrow, and change it. So everything's been brought down into this single screen for managing your alarms. It can be reduced. It becomes part of the PracticeMaster icon at the bottom, just like the eNotes do, as you'll see here. And you can get right back to it there. So managing alarms is no longer, if you have a lot of them that are all popping at the same time, no longer a matter of managing multiple windows. Very easy to manage. We do have things that make a little bit more sense, like if this were an event, like at 2 o'clock I was going to meet with somebody, I'd have the ability to be reminded. Instead of just snoozing 10 minutes from now, I can say snooze it until 10 minutes before or until 5 minutes before. If you've ever worked with Outlook and its alarms, these things now match that. So if I open this up and drop down this list, you will see real things here. If anybody ever worked with alarms in version 16.2 or prior, it was always minutes. And I could tell you that 1,440 minutes is 12 hours, I believe. Is that right? No, that's a day. 1440 is a day. I've been using this so long I've forgotten. 2880 is 2 days. That's because it was always minutes. I couldn't just say 1 day, 2 days, a half a day, 3 days, 4 days. Now I can. And it doesn't have to be what's here. I can say 3 weeks, even though that's not in the drop-down. I can say 9.5 hours. Okay? And it translates to 9 hours and 30 minutes. Very, very cool. Makes it a lot easier to set your alarms and a lot easier to work with. Mary Jo?
Oh, hold on. Before you move on, Paul,
There's a question.
if you cancel the Outlook alarm, will it cancel the PracticeMaster alarm?
I'm glad. Whoever asked this, thank you very much.
Patty, thank you.
In version 16.2 and prior, the alarms snoozing or canceling of the alarms was not integrated and synchronized with Outlook, and now it is. So you'll notice I've got 2 Outlook alarms here, and you'll notice that I also have the same 2 PracticeMaster alarms. Oops, sorry, hold on. Clicked the wrong thing. Now watch this. What is wrong with me? Oh, this is open. Okay, get out of here. Okay, so here they are. Sometimes I'll just do this just to see it happen. Watch this. Cancel, clear alarm. Watch, watch, watch. There you go. I didn't do that. It did. They are now fully synchronized, and so if I were now to clear the alarm here, this would go away, and I could go on with my life. That was a major stumbling block for those of you who are synchronizing with Outlook prior to version 17. That alone, for me, would make me get version 17. Mary Jo?
It's still you, Paul.
It's still me. What am I doing?
It's still you. You're still talking about combined alarm time.
Well, that's what I
just,
yeah, that's what I just did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now it's you, Mary
Now
Jo.
it's me. Document search. Paul talked a little bit about the document management, but now there is a new document search. So underneath our search settings, you can go to document search. You can tell it which document you want to search for, in what area, by a date range or specific dates. You can tell it all clients or specific clients. You can do it for all doc types or a specific doc type. Paul mentioned that you can set up those doc types. Now you can search by them. So if I just want to see all my emails or all of my pleadings or whatever doc types I've set up, I can search specifically for that. Also, doc management users, I can say which users created these documents and search by that specifically. I can also do your phrase match and your regular search options that we have, and I can tell it where to search. Do I want it in the doc management documents, email attachments, or linked documents? So a very powerful search tool after you've saved all those documents into PracticeMaster.
Very cool. And notice here you can also search or choose not to search the versions. So you can say, no, I just want to find this word in the latest version, or no, I want to find it in all versions. World Docs enhancements. For those of you that use World Docs or are going to use World Docs, there are certain things that this document management will not do that World Docs will, although it certainly has gotten a lot better than it was, and it's come much closer to being very World Docs-like. We now have the ability in integration. Let me get there. In World Docs, I have to close all my windows. To have multiple profile groups defined. So if you have different profile groups that represent clients for different reasons, you can now define more than one profile group. Very, very big. Also, under updating the client information and its interaction between PracticeMaster and World Docs, it used to be that you would set this up and initialize the tables in World Docs so it knew who all your clients and matters were, and then as long as you remained hooked to World Docs, when you added new matters, they'd get put in World Docs. Well, now, if for some reason those two tables get disconnected, it used to be pretty difficult to get them updated if they became disconnected. Now you just hit this button, and it goes out and fixes any disconnection that it has without messing with anything you may have done separately in World Docs as far as adding different folders to store documents in. So very much more tightly integrated in that regard. And of course, we still have we also have the ability to find different World Docs search templates within the system as opposed to just having the one. So it can search those different profile groups and can find things in different ways in its interaction between PracticeMaster and World Docs. Mary Jo?
New PowerPoint, World Docs, and Windows Explorer toolbar plugins. If we go to our integration again, and we go to toolbar plugins, you now have some additional tabs up here. So we have our World Docs toolbar that will actually put a toolbar into World Docs. You have the PowerPoint, so now we can add PowerPoint, and we have the Windows Explorer toolbar. Paul showed you earlier when he went to send to PracticeMaster, that's available once you've installed this Windows toolbar. So that makes that feature become available for you. Oh, that was a shorty. Oh, it's still me. I get to do journal files.
But you can
Yay.
show them this too, Mary Jo. You can show them that in World Docs now there is a PracticeMaster menu.
Yep,
and that's what that
toolbar
toolbar installs.
Yep.
So you can create calendar, feed, journal, and actually open the Matter Manager right from World Docs. Very cool. Okay, go ahead.
Journal file. We added a new View Email and Outlook option. Let's get back to PracticeMaster. So let me get there. But you closed everything up now.
I had to hear you.
Yeah, get me in there. I don't know where we are.
Here's the client record,
okay.
and we were going to go to
Yeah,
Lewis.
so if we wanted to add a new View Email and Outlook option in Quick Clicks, if you go over here, you can see on here's my quick clicks. So I have some emails up for my record type that I previously journaled. And now if I just want to go view that email in Outlook, I can click on it right here from Quick Clicks. It's going to open Outlook for me, and then also that email. So now I can reply to it, forward it, do whatever I want to do with that particular message. I also have available, get that out of there, the export an email as an Outlook message. So if I wanted to send this out to a folder and save it outside of PracticeMaster, maybe I have several that I need to go dump into a folder and then print them off or forward them on to, for an attachment for a case or something like that, we can do that. So now you can export that message into a format that can be sent in mass. So you don't have to do it as just one-off. Paul?
Awesome. Matter Manager. We can, in the Matter Manager, people love this all activity view. They love it because unlike the other views, which are kind of more like the traditional client file view, where, by the way, your quick clicks will still come up now in the client manager or the Matter Manager. Very cool. All activity gives you stuff combined together. Here's all the journal records, emails, documents, fees, costs, whatever. But some people said, well, yeah, I love having the emails and the documents and the journal records, but I don't want the fees or costs. Or maybe they do want the fees in there, but they don't want the costs, advances, and expenses in there. There is now an ability, if you right-click here, to create a custom activity list. And so we've got a couple samples in here, but if we add a new one and give it a name, test, we can click which things we want to see, and we can choose not to click the things that we don't want to see. So we want to see our events and tasks, our calendar items. We want to see our documents, emails, and notes, but we don't want to see fees, costs, timers, billing, notes, research, or phone records. And we say OK, and we choose it. Up here, test, test, test. And that's all I'm looking at is those things that I selected. Don't have to worry anymore about, I stole that from you. That has an M on my list. Does that have a P on your list?
No, it has a P on mine. It's
okay.
yours.
Okay.
I'm next.
You're next.
I'm
okay.
next.
Find and replace, Mary Jo.
Find and replace. This is one of my favorite upgrades that they have done. They have added the ability to search for empty fields when using Find and Replace. So now we can go out there and all those blank fields that we wanted to choose and then populate it with something else we can now do in Find and Replace. One of my favorite enhancements.
That's probably the major thing people want to search for is
I know.
nothing.
When you do Find and Replace, it's usually what you want.
Look, I have a client meeting in 30 minutes. I'm going to snooze it to 10 minutes before. Oh, and I can do it all from one box. Okay.
One more, Paul.
Workflows. This will be boring, but I'm going to say it anyways. We have added the ability to use virtual fields and to punch through or push through and look up from the contact and client files in workflows. Now, if you've done any work with workflows and you know that those workflows can't access virtual fields and you've run up against the brick wall of not being able to push through to the contact file and build workflow based on something that's in the contact file or in the client file, even though the record itself isn't one of those two files, then you'll understand that this is very significant and very huge. If you are in the 99% of the people that don't even know what a workflow is, you're probably yawning because you don't know what the heck I'm talking about. So workflows can now use virtual fields and can push through to the contact and client file to base their queries on the fields in those files. If we skip through to the miscellaneous changes, we will see a couple changes in PracticeMaster limits, Mary Jo. Increasing the number of fields from 435 to 435.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there I said it.
From 410 to 435, field limits have been increased in the amount of fields that you can add in file maintenance. So that's what that means.
If for some reason you have added a lot of fields to your client file, for instance, and maybe have come up against that, I think Michigan State is using this in their labs to teach lawyers how to manage cases, and they are actually to manage cases in their labs that they use to help people that need help. They run up against this all the time, so those extra 25 fields for them will be huge.
And then the other miscellaneous change was help improvements. If you click on help or press F1, from any report preview window, it will take you to a help topic relating to that. That probably is more likely to happen in tabs. But you also, in PracticeMaster, have that ability to hit the help button and press F1 from any list tab, and that will take you to the appropriate help topic for the file that you are accessing. So
as opposed to, I think it used to give you help about what the list tab was,
yeah,
but it didn't tell you about the file you were in. So, also, we have an automatic update notification now. It used to be that you could go out and load the page to check for updates. Now you have a check for updates button, and if you click it, it'll simply tell you what updates are available for your software. We'll give you a button to download them now. Once you've downloaded them, as long as everybody else is out and you're a manager, you can press another button to actually run the update. So your update management can be maintained, or update maintenance can be managed from the software itself. Another thing is that when STI occasionally says that they have an update that is of critical nature, meaning everybody should get it right away because it corrects something that may cause a potential problem, they can kind of push through and notify you of that. When your software loads in the morning, it checks to see if there are any critical updates, and if there are, it tells you about them and lets you know before you load the software. A couple things that are being discontinued. If you use the PracticeMaster briefcase, if you are one of the 14 people that is still using the PracticeMaster briefcase, don't upgrade to 17 because 17 discontinues that. It was very difficult to maintain because it's a very all-inclusive sort of thing. It's from the days before we had networks and the internet, and people could use the PracticeMaster briefcase to take a matter home with them on a disk. I have a couple clients that still use that. One in Tennessee just loves it just for what it is, and another in Puerto Rico, where they don't have good internet access, uses it to take matters home because he can't rely on being able to connect to his network from home. QuickBooks integration. QuickBooks integration is still in tabs, but it has been removed from PracticeMaster. I have thought and have not yet been able to come up with a reason that somebody would want to integrate QuickBooks with PracticeMaster. I can understand why somebody might want to integrate it with tabs, but I can't understand why somebody would want to integrate it with PracticeMaster. If you are one of those people who has figured out why you might want to do that and is perhaps doing it, don't upgrade to 17 because that has been removed. Okay, and that is that. In just a little bit over 30 minutes, we have covered every single change that's been made to PracticeMaster in version 17. We will go into these in great detail over a period of several months, starting in January. Next month, we will have our year-end free-for-all, or recap is our more conservative word. Leanne is signaling me that we have one question, so I'm going to let her cut in real quick and ask that question on someone's behalf.
Lynn wants to know if they are on version 16.1, do you recommend upgrading to 16.2 or just go right ahead and upgrade to 17?
Go right to 17. I don't. If you want to get new functionality and you need something that's in 16.2 right now, you might as well just email beta@tabs3.com and say, hey, I want version 17. In a minute, when I get done talking about what, well, I'll just tell you now. Version 17 is due to be released to the general public for new sales sometime very soon. That's all I can tell you. It is due to be released for people that are on maintenance sometime in January. That's all I can tell you about that. They generally will release it to new sales first. It's kind of like the last stage of beta testing. Lets some new users do some things that they wouldn't uncover in a regular beta update. You can get the beta version right now, and I'll tell you, it's not really being tested anymore. It's pretty much ready to go. It's been in beta for about 3 or 4 months. We've had it for, I think, 3.5, 4 months. So if you want it, and you want it now, send an email to beta@tabs3.com. Tell them Paul told you to email and ask for the beta, and they will send you a form to sign. Sign the form, and you'll be ready to go. That's all you have to do. You do need to be on maintenance. If you're not on maintenance, call me or email me, and I'll tell you a little bit about what you'd need to do to get version 17. I don't recommend you update to 16.2 and then go to 17. There's no point in it. If you're going to upgrade, just go straight to 17. Any more questions, Leanne?
No more questions.
Okay. So next month, year-end recap or year-end free-for-all. It's going to be kind of a free-for-all. We're going to talk about everything that's changed in the year of 2013 as far as PracticeMaster goes. Our TABS virtual user group meeting next month will also be the same. It'll be a year-end recap. We are looking for people to ask questions. So it's kind of, as I said, it's kind of a free-for-all. And we'd prefer that you email those questions ahead of time. You can email me at paul.purdue, like the school, not the chicken, P-U-R-D-U-E, paul.purdue@attorneycomputersystems.com, and we'll compile all those questions and get them all answered on the 16th next month. It's a little early. It's the third Monday of the month, not the last Monday, because of the holidays. So just before Christmas and Christmas week, we will have our last virtual user group meeting of 2013. Email your questions ahead of time. If we have time, we'll take some questions live, but we're really looking to have them all assembled and ready to answer before we start. Okay? Everybody have a good day, a good week, a good month, and we'll see you in December.